Okay, we're live. We're live.
Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
everyone. Can we just take a second to just appreciate this cover? Like, stunning. Wow, amazing. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the third Late Night Book Club live show. Hosted on my channel. Hi, my name is Joel, and today we're going to be discussing Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. So before we get into that, would my lovely co-hosts please introduce themselves?
Hi everyone, I'm Noelle, and I'm ready to talk about Black Sun. Woo!
Hey everyone, I'm ELLIAS, and I'm also ready to talk about Black Sun because I have some thoughts about this book.
I'm really scared because I saw your Goodreads review as I was going to rate it, and I was just like,
I haven't even given it a rating yet because I was waiting for this live show.
You were literally and I was like, oh no. But yeah, I was just super excited to get everyone to read this book because obviously Noelle doesn't read fantasy at all. ELLIAS is an avid fantasy reader sometimes, but then also tends to go other places. And I'm just a diehard fantasy reader. Amazing. Plus, it was Native American Heritage Month, and we wanted to celebrate that, do some anti-Columbian stuff. So boom, Black Sun was an amazing pick for it. And yeah, I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked the story. I really liked how it just built up, and I loved the execution of Serapio's character arc right at the end. What did you two rate it?
Okay, so this one's hard for me to rate because since I don't read fantasy, I don't have anything to measure it against, right? For me, what'll be a really strong fantasy might feel like more young adult fantasy to someone else, but I gave it a 4 out of 5. I just had so much fun with it, and I thought the character development was so fun. And I don't know, I just thought it was an excellent way to kind of explore fantasy as a genre, because I know people are always kind of DMing me why don't you at least try it? And so to read this and to really like it makes me excited to read more fantasy.
Now you can say that. Now that you can say that you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I am gonna give this one a 3.5 out of 5. Oh. Originally, it was gonna be a 4, and I was like, I'm gonna sleep on this because I finished this 4 or 5 a.m. and I was like, the strong half was really strong for me, even though it was slower. But then the second half, even though it was faster, there were a lot of things that I just had personal problems with. So we can go into that later with spoilers and everything. But 3 out of 5, or 3.5 out of 5. So
I did think you would. Yeah, I did think you'd give it somewhere. A good rating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a great rating. It's not bad or anything. But I'm glad I actually read this. I enjoyed it. I just had some minor problems with it overall.
Yeah. Although I'm really happy that Noelle liked it. And
me too. I'm your first fantasy.
I think that was the one main thing I was worried about, because the initial reaction was everyone I don't read fantasy, so I don't know whether I will read this book. And I was just oh god, are we never gonna do fantasy again? But I think that one of the main aims that we talked about this book club was exploring other genres and other things that perhaps we've never done before. So we were just yeah, and I'm so glad that you liked it, and it was amazing. How did everyone else rate it? We've got a lot of 4 stars, some 5 stars, some 3 stars. Yeah. Leah was oh my god, we got Noelle into fantasy. It's amazing.
When I started the first chapter, I was oh god, I do not want to finish this book. Just because I was it's going to be too complicated, I'm going to be lost, and it's going to suck. And then by the second chapter, which is where we get Jala's?
Jala, yeah.
Jala's
the name.
Yeah. The name. When we get her first chapter, I was oh god, I am in this now, and I'm here to stay. So I think that it was her perspective that really got me excited about the book.
And the thing that shocked me as well is that this is Rebecca Roanhorse's first foray into epic fantasy, because she's mostly done urban fantasy beforehand. Yeah, and so this was like her first time fully doing like the big epic fantasy, and I was just like, this is, I think I saw a comment earlier about how this book is a great setup for the rest of the trilogy, and I completely agree with that. Like, this is a great book for a like beginner fantasy because it completely like is a good way to set up a series for you to be invested in. And yeah, I'm just seeing.
What's the difference between high fantasy and urban fantasy?
Okay, a little bit of an education session. So epic fantasy basically doesn't take place in our world whatsoever, and it takes place in like a world that's not our own. Urban fantasy basically takes place in our world and has some kind of fantastical elements, can also sometimes include like other realms and stuff, but the majority of it takes place in our world.
Okay.
So kind of like, I'm trying to search my bookshelf now.
He has the receipts.
So City of Bones by Cassandra Clare would be classed as an urban fantasy because it takes place in our world. Meanwhile, this takes place somewhere else. Epic fantasy.
Okay, got it. Totally makes sense. Thank you for the lesson.
It's okay. So yeah, and everyone was like, it's a trilogy, and that's exciting. And the other books are going to be great. So we're going to delve into some of the questions now. There may be some mild spoilers. So if you haven't read the book yet, go read the book, or if you don't mind being spoiled, stick around. If anything,
the live heavy
show...
spoilers. We go all that. So bye, everyone who's like,
I mean, after you in the 1x1 live show, where you just went straight into the spoilers, I was just like, okay. I'm like, right, okay. But yeah, someone asked, I want to know what yours group chat is like for coordinating outfits.
No coordination, our minds.
Literally, it just happens naturally. It's strange, but like we're on the same wavelength, I feel. So, but yeah, so yeah, if you haven't read the book yet, go off. This live show will be here when you return. And yeah, so question 1, who is your favorite character's point of view to read and why?
I feel like I gave my answer away, but Giala, ELLIAS, how do you say it? You say it totally different than us.
Throughout the entire time I read the book, I pronounced her name as Zyla. So, but then I looked up like how to say her name, like Rebecca, how Rebecca said in her interview, and she said Shala.
Okay, Shala. Okay, well, Shala was my favorite. When her point of view started, I was like, oh God, this is so good and so interesting. And then every chapter that followed, whenever it opened with her, I was like, okay, this is going to be a good one. So I love reading her point of view.
I'm going to say same. I absolutely loved all of her like POVs the best. They were the most fulfilling to me. And I just wished there was still some more character arc. Her backstory was the most interesting to me to read about. Because wait, we can talk about spoilers now, right?
Yeah.
Guys, she's a fucking mermaid. What the fuck? Like that? I did not see that coming. I knew there were mermaids in this book. People were like, guys, they're mermaids. And I was like, okay, but I did not expect the main character to be a mermaid. So when that happened, I was like, in chapter 21, I was shook. And I was like, I'm here for this. I want to know more. Like, what's happening here? So
I thought she was a siren.
Oh, interesting.
Because obviously she has that song.
Why did you think she was
because she has that song, and she was like, oh, I'll like tempt the men to go like into the sea and drown. So I was like, and then when she had the tail and everything, I was like, siren.
You know, I could totally see that, especially because she could sing. Yeah.
I think Jala is quite an interesting character in the sense that I think she's a character that gives like an outsider perspective to everything. So she's a great introductory character to the world. But I also feel like her role is going to be more utilized in the next books rather than this book, because it just felt like she didn't really have much to do apart from transporting Serapio to Tova. Nara only really got interesting in the second half of the book for me. Like the first half was like her plot build up and stuff. But then the second half where all the shit was going down with like the priests being like, oh yeah, no, bye. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. I feel like that's only where it got interesting for me. But I think Jala and Serapio specifically as well, his point of view and the flashbacks for his point of view were really interesting as well. And I think a lot of people were saying Jala and Serapio were their favorites. We did have some Nara love as well. We did have a fourth perspective, but like it was only like now and again that
is it Okoa?
Yeah, I think it's Okoa.
Okoa. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think he only came into it like a little bit, but I think he'll be utilized in the second book as well.
Yeah.
This is a good point. Jala and Nara were such empowering female characters in two very different ways. Agreed. I think Jala was a very powerful character in the sense that she was able to like use her powers and stuff, and Nara in the sense that she needed to figure out where she belonged.
She did, and I'm finally glad she like sort of. She's still like struggling and trying to figure that out, but let's second half the book.
So her ending, Nara's ending.
Yeah.
Is that too spoilery? Like, should we wait on that? I'm just. No. Are we supposed to think that that's the end of her story?
I don't.
This is the
think so.
Right, we're gonna go right into it. So okay. I think they're gonna bring her back from the dead.
Okay, got it. Just making sure.
She did die.
Because, like, she died.
She died, but how come in the beginning of the book it said that she was like still alive and she could feel all like the witch doing everything to her? So she died?
Because I think she's being brought back, or like she's like on the brink of death. Or something like that, because like the little thing at the beginning of the chapter was talking about like a death ritual and how they brought people back from the dead. And so I'm thinking, maybe...
Well, either way, she's coming back. She's totally coming back. Yeah, so, well, I have like no doubt about that.
Yeah, she's like his story's not over yet. She still needs to be the sun priest that she's already.
She was annoying. She was so annoying in the beginning, but sorry, I'm like all over the place.
Yeah. But no, I think this is the best thing to put for it. Died. She died.
Okay, got it.
But yes. So the second question, what did we think about the build-up and execution of Serapio's destiny to become the Crow God?
That was a little confusing to me at first, like figuring out what his like place was in this whole scenario, this whole plot. But once he started explaining later in the second half, it sort of clicked. I still don't 100% fully understand the whole reasoning behind his whole vengeance, taking after his mother's like words, because of what happened when she was in Tova. So that part was a little muddled for me. I honestly thought that his arc, I would have liked more sort of character, I wouldn't say development, more backstory to his character, especially like his training. I felt like his overall arc it read so quickly for me. And especially towards the end, the ending was so abrupt. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. So
I totally agree. When it was wrapping up, I was like, so I know it's part of a trilogy, but I feel like I just kind of got slapped around at the very end. I was like, wait, hold on a second. Like, I just spent so long for this buildup, and I get that, like, you know, the ending's not going to be as long as the buildup is, but it was still like, holy hell, like what just happened? I really liked learning about Serapio and like what his character arc and like just how the first chapter starts off with the ritual with like him and his mom, and then how his mom dies was just so fascinating to me, and it was really cool reading that, because I was like, you know, I haven't read high fantasy ever, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, I was so like, oh my god. So it was really fun, but I agree with you, Elias, that by the end, like, okay, I really like that there's kind of like this switch to villain. Like, that's really cool to read, but I agree there was parts of it where I was like, wait, I feel like you're good in your heart, but then all of these things just happened that is not good. So I don't know, I felt a little muddled as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of you with like the ending was very like climactic in the sense that it gave like him becoming the Crow God and stuff, but I feel like it could have been dragged out a little bit longer and gave it a bit more of an impact to the entire story, because like you said, it just happened way too quickly. And I feel like the characters that died, like we'd been waiting for them to like get some like torment or some suffering during the entire thing, and that just didn't happen. So it didn't pay off for me. What was I gonna say? I completely forgot. Like, I just think that they needed to suffer a little bit more, those characters, before they died. But anyway, I think the tutors as well was a very intriguing part of the story, where like each of them trained him in a different aspect. Like the first tutor trained him in the body, the second one, no, the mind, sorry. The second one trained him in the body, and the last one trained him in the soul, which I thought was like a quite thing, because there's always that like thing of the mind, body, and soul like throughout. And I think that was quite interesting. But again, I agree with ELLIAS. It should have been drawn out a little bit more. I just think his character arc just needed a little bit more development for me, so that I felt a little bit more for him.
So a couple of people in the chat were like, Abba dying was my favorite part.
I mean,
yes. Oh my god.
Satisfying.
I have never wished death upon a character. Actually, no, I have, but just I wish death on just the entire stupidity of the entire priesthood just made me laugh. Oh, this is also a good point. I feel like the info about the Knight of Knives also didn't provide enough emotional impact on the reader to make us empathize with the crow's motivations. I feel like we could have gotten a lot more with that and made like the crow motivations much more interesting.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agree.
I definitely 100% agree, because one of the main reasons why I didn't enjoy the book as much coming into the second half, when everything was happening, all the action and everything, all the characters coming together, was because for me, this book was a lot of like more show than tell, if that makes any sense. It was a lot of showing, but not very expanding upon like certain histories or backstories. There wasn't that emotional connection that I wanted to have with certain characters. I felt like of all the characters, I felt like Nara had like the most character arc in terms of like her growth or whatever, from going from like here to there, versus like certain characters like Serapio and Zyla. They were just having a journey together. I didn't really feel the romance. But I don't know. For me, I just wish that there were certain expansions and probably more details about certain things, like with the War Council, with Okowa's part. Like, it was very, very small, and it was just something very trivial to me that I thought would be such a big sort of impact on the story, but it really wasn't. So for me, that's why I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. It was a really strong book in my opinion, but it was a lot more show than tell in my opinion. So
I think that's a great way to say that, ELLIAS, like the show and tell aspect of it. Like, I wouldn't have thought to, describe it that way, but I think that's perfect, because we did get a lot of like punchline type of like histories, but we didn't get told exactly what happened. We just knew that people had suffered and that things were, can you tell that the sun is just killing you right now? Serapio's here. Anyway, so yeah, I think what you're saying is perfect, ELLIAS.
I think it was quite interesting as well, like how the priesthood was like, oh, it happened so long ago, why am I being punished for it? And then I was just staring at the book like, indeed, because like people say that nowadays, and it's just like, that's quite interesting, that's quite fun. But yeah, a lot of people as well talk about how they wish they had much more of Jala's backstory, and Blake doesn't think Abba is dead. I hope you're wrong. Please be wrong. I thought she was.
Yeah, because when Okowa was going to, what is it, the Sun Rock, he was describing all the masks and all the people behind it, and I thought Abba was one of the people who was wearing the white masks, or am I mistaken?
I think so.
I thought she's dead. I think the bitch is dead. So
I hope so. I hope so.
If she isn't, we better get like I don't know, some excruciating death in the next book. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
So hopefully.
Noelle was struggling.
Oh my god, that was so annoying. Okay. There we go.
I'm glad you finally got your space. This is also a very good point.
Oh yeah, everything about the representation was chef's kiss. So beautiful to read, especially in a fantasy setting, and I loved it. Like there were like a couple non-binary characters. We have a bisexual character. It was great, and almost like everyone was person of color, right? There wasn't like one white person at all in this book.
I don't think there was a white. Oh, and plus, at least your bookshelves are beautiful. Okay, so question 3. Why do you think Nara had been chosen to be the Sun Priest even though she was an outsider to everyone else? And how did you feel when she was removed from her position?
Okay, can someone answer this for me? Because I was like, okay, you're the Sun Priest, but then you keep getting it thrown in your face that you're not of the sun, you're of the earth, right? That was the point.
Yeah, she was like of the earth, not of the sky people.
Yeah, so I was like, wait, why though? And then when they all turned on her, I was like, but why though? Like that was a big, I just wanted more. Obviously there's power and yes, there's motivation there, but what's the girl that we hate?
Abba.
Yeah. Why? I felt like there was no explanation for why she was doing it. Obviously for power.
I feel like because Nara in the first place was an outsider, and all the Sun Priests that were chosen, what is it? We're all from
the sky.
The sky, a sky maid, right? So she wasn't sky maid in that sort of situation. So I think that's why there was so much hate, because she was like an outsider, someone from the slums or something like that. So that was just my take on it. I think that's why they was just so they were in a way prejudiced against her, like her past and where she came from. So that's why Abba wanted to have her removed, even though that was like super extreme. But
okay,
when she was removed, I felt like almost that was like a blessing in disguise in a way, because she had to go on this journey. Because when she was a kid, that's all she wanted to be, was one of the priests, right, who studied the stars, not knowing like the full history behind it maybe. And even when she was a Sun Priest, she was still like, for me, Nara was such a naive character. Her way of thinking was so two-dimensional for me in terms of speaking, because she would view certain things and then ignore others for her own that would fit her own narrative or perception or whatever. So, and it had to be until that she was stripped of her power that she realized she like needed help, like to look elsewhere, to like, you know, find who she really is. So that was just my take on it. But
yeah, I agree with you. I think as well with Nara, she had wanted to like instill like a lot of like new values in the priesthood and make them a lot more relevant. And a lot of the people were like, no, this is against tradition. We want to stick with tradition. And so I think there was also like one of her flaws, well, not flaws, but one of her weaknesses, because they all were against her from the very get-go because she wanted something different than the rest of them. And like you said, her being removed was a blessing in disguise, because not only did she get that growth, but also because they were about Serapio was about to go kill the Sun Priest, clearly she won't be there for when they like would come and kill her. So I was just like, you're like, if you like, it's just funny because clearly you're all gonna die and she's just gonna be like, yo, I'm alive. Like clearly my opposition is gonna die.
But no one knows that she's dead, right? Except Abba maybe, but she's dead too. So no one knows what happens to her.
Yeah, and even the Crow God's like, where is the Sun Priest? I do not detect like this. That was interesting though, where like right at the end he was like, I don't detect the sun god in you, and I was like, excuse me, like what is this like sun introduction of like the sun god in like the Sun Priest? I was like, I feel like we did need a lot more backstory like on Nara and like what it meant to become a Sun Priest, as opposed to just being like, oh, the Sun Priest is an amazing like role that like is the top of everything. Clearly not, because clearly they don't really have a lot of like power, but I feel like we needed a little bit more backstory on that. But apart from that, the whole dynamic was a little bit interesting. Yeah. everyone said about Iktan and Nara's little romance was a little bit annoying.
They were just there to hook up, you know.
Yeah, and then she like was allowed to feel jealousy, but then like I don't know. I just that like kind of like I ended things, but I'm still going to be jealous is like interesting to read. But while I'm reading it, I'm like, you don't have a right to be upset with this person that you pushed away. So, but I still thought it was interesting when it would come up because then it kind of like added to Nara's chapters because I was interested in the romance. So I was like, what's happening here? But I guess we don't find out because that scrape that's on their neck. Remember that part? There's like the scrape, and then that's how Nara finds out that like maybe they're all sleeping around.
Yeah.
Right. We don't actually know if that's what that is.
Nara was just annoying to me in the beginning,
else.
so I was just like, I don't care.
No,
She
go
was
away.
so frustrating to read from in the beginning, and I was like, stop it.
Be quiet. Nah,
I just want Elias to have a nice rant review at the end of this live show to talk about all the things he didn't
Don't
like.
get me wrong, though.
I
I still really liked it. I still liked
Elias's
it.
corner. A lot of people think that Iktan is alive.
I do too.
I think so as well.
Because the priest who had their belly slashed, what's his name? Okowa said she was a woman, right? Or am I missing something? Because in the end, he Okowa said that he found the priest, and I thought it would be Iktan, but it wasn't. Because he wasn't, they weren't there. So maybe they were looking for, what's her name? Nara?
Yeah.
Because Abbas said that Abbas said that she was spotted, or her company was spotted, right? So
this is a good point.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
that's the tea. That is it. Yeah, no. I just feel like she just walked around everywhere and was just like, yeah, people will like obey me or like listen to me. And like after a few assassination attempts, I think you would be like, oh, maybe I should like act like a sun priest. No.
And she had lost her grip on the situation so fast, and then was like, "I'm just gonna sit back and just wait and like not give the bitchy person." I keep forgetting their name. What is it? Abba. Yeah. So she's like, "I'm just gonna sit back and not give her what she wants." But then she didn't do anything anyway, and I was like, "Okay, well you're getting double crossed so bad right now, but you're not really brainstorming on how you're gonna address it. You're just like." Firing the dude that was supposed to usurp you, and then you're just like pushing them away, and then you don't really have a plan beyond that. So
that's why she was so annoying to me. I was like, "You're so naive. Stop." Like I was like reading two different people. Like when Nara was like, "Oh my god, they're stripping me of my powers. I'm gonna go for help now." I was like, "Who are you?" Like she's like putting on like these shoes and like climbing out of her window, and I was like, "Where was that person the entire time?" And then she went back, and I was like, okay. And then she literally forgot she had the necklace. The entire time. I was like, Nara, you have the necklace. Call on the witch. And then they had to take off her clothes, and she's like, oh my god, I have the necklace. Zatara, or whatever the witch name was, help me. And I was like, and then she just jumped off the bridge, and I was like, you couldn't have just ran away or something? I don't know. That part was just like. So whatever happened to her is on her.
It's on her. It's on her.
The priesthood felt like teenage drama. Literally, it was. They were like every time her chapter would come out, I'm like, ugh.
Confessions of a Teenage Sun Priest.
Literally, though.
Oh, gosh. I can't. Okay, so before we get into all of like the questions from everyone who's watching, as this is the first book in the trilogy, where do you think we're going to head next?
I feel like as a fantasy noob, I can't even really guess at this. Like when it ended, I was like, wait, this is a trilogy, right? Because like I'm left with so many questions. And
As a standalone.
what? Oh my god, I was like, no, dude. I'm like, okay, wait
That
a
face,
second.
that face is
Do
gonna
not
be a meme.
mess with me.
That face is gonna be a meme.
Nope, that's it. That's all we'll ever find out.
Oh
That's
my god,
it. Goodbye.
It just haunts my dreams. Yeah, I think more on the backstories, finding out what happens with Serapio, and I mean, I just want more Jala,
Mhm.
Xalia. I want more of her always. I just want a book dedicated to her.
Same. I really want to know more about like the Teak Islands, like their backstory. I want to know more about Serapio's mother's agenda, like what happened with like the Knight of Knives. I want more. I want Nara better be able to redeem herself in the second book. She better come through with that backstory, with that tragic backstory, and work with her brother, who only had like one chapter in the entire book, and he was so much more interesting than that girl.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
I would like to know more about the the mall, that place, and also more big birds, please. I really like the big ass crow and all the big creatures, like the weird creatures. I couldn't really picture in my mind like the water creature that Rebecca was describing. So in my mind, I was thinking of a big praying mantis who was like
That's good though. That's a good comparison.
I was like, wait a second, I don't understand. Is this a water bug? What is this? So
my thought was like the Pokemon that's like a seahorse, like it's a horse with the little saddle on its back. What's that Pokemon? It's a water Pokemon.
Oh,
it's the first 150. Yeah.
Bulbasaur? I don't know Pokemon. I don't know my Pokemon. Yeah, but that's just what I basically want to see in the next book. I want to see what happens. Obviously, Akoa and Serapio are going to get acquainted, which is going to be interesting because my favorite trope in fantasy is when these different characters, these different POVs, all like collide together with their own history and backstory, and you like rooting for them, or like you want them to fight or whatever, have sex or makeup, you know. So it'll be great. All like the tension, all like these different things.
I think Jala and Nara are going to meet, in my opinion.
Yes.
She will eat Nara. That's all I'm saying.
She will eat Nara.
She'll literally look at her and be like, "Bitch, you need to grow up."
Yes. Exactly.
Yes. Like, hello. Like, you're at your high priest castle. Like, shut up.
Exactly.
So she just
literally,
like,
that one-liner just happens in that book. I would literally give the book immediately 5 out of 5 stars. No cap.
I will hold you to that. Oh god. Yeah.
What do you think's gonna happen, Joel?
Oh, so yeah, I think Serapio is gonna go through like this whole internal battle between like whether he's gonna keep his like himself or like go for the crow god thing, because apparently he dies like I don't know if it's like literally or like metaphorically. Don't really know. I think that we're going to see a lot more of the world, because I think it's just a bit too small for what we got in the first book for it to just be contained in that. So I think we're going to explore a lot more. I think Jala is going to know a lot more about her powers and herself and like how to use them. And I think it's going to set up to be like an all-out war against like maybe the crow people and everyone else essentially. And I think hopefully we'll get a bit more backstory as to why the crow people are so angry and stuff. Because although we got like a little bit of it in like the first book, I feel like we need like a lot more of it in the second book.
Agreed.
Like having a POV from Serapio's mother would be interesting or something.
I would like that. Because we do have that little bit of like an interaction between them, and like he was kind of happy that she wasn't dead. So I would like to see it.
He can kill her.
ELLIAS is just such a like anti-Nara.
I don't actually hate her. I'm just poking fun at her because she was just really annoying me, and I was like. Ooh, somebody, yes, that was a good theory. What do you guys think?
I think she might have used his song she might have used her song in a way that's like against them because she's so like reluctant to use it. Because like she's like, oh, teak.
That is like, a good.
She mentioned that her mother was sort of like a monster in a way, sort of like that one night she had with Serapio, saying that, oh, my mother was a monster too, even though he was talking about something different. But I guess we won't know until we find out. But I'm guessing she hurt like what you said, Joel. She might have hurt somebody, and then her mother, or no, she accidentally maybe came upon like the crime of the scene or something. I don't think it was her fault intentionally, and then mom was just like, goodbye.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I was literally like, this is fantasy, so I'm just gonna let it take me. I don't know what's gonna happen. But Joel, I think that's awesome.
And enjoy the ride.
Some people in the comments saying she saved a person. I think I missed that.
I might have missed that as well.
Getting Little Mermaid vibes here.
True. Interesting. Some people say maybe she used the song against her mother, fighting back against her abuser, perhaps. We like that. Part one of the Teak cases was May fall in love with a man, and she's bisexual, so I think she fell in love with a man. Because didn't she say like the Teak don't have fathers?
Yeah, they don't have any men on their.
All
women.
So that's interesting. Everyone's coming with such good theories. I love it.
I know.
We love that. We love that. Okay. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please comment them and we shall answer to the best of our abilities. But for now, Noelle, would you read more fantasy?
Oh my God, yes. I had so much fun. It was so fun. And someone asked if we listened to the audiobook. I did with the book, and it was so good. And I think it really helped me. I think if I was just straight up reading this as my first like big high fantasy, I would have been like, what is going on? But each one, it was like 4 different narrators, and they brought the characters up to life so well. So yeah, I would definitely like, now I'm thinking about, what is your favorite ELLIAS? You love this. What's the favorite one?
What's my favorite books? Oh, The Starless Sea, The House in the Cerulean Sea. We have a lot of books I can talk about.
Wait, there's like a series?
The Raven Boys? The Raven Cycle?
Is that fantasy?
It's more what Joel says about urban fantasy, but I wouldn't even call it fantasy in like it's like a different set of fantasy. Fantasy elements, yes. But it's more, to me, more magic than actual fantasy. That's just my personal take on it. I don't consider it like a fantasy. It's just like how The Starless Sea has certain magical elements, but it's not like a fantasy.
Starless Sea, right there. Do you see it? Oh, no. It's here. ELLIAS, is it getting read? It might be.
It's one of those picks up there. So we'll see.
That is a hefty book. That's one
hefty, beautiful book.
Okay,
I have the Raven Cycle, not the Raven Cycle. I have the Night Circus up there on like my top shelf, and like I'm supposed to be reading that soon. So,
we love to see it.
Let's see. How long did it take for you guys to catch on to the fact that the chapters were jumping back and forth in time?
It didn't take me that long because I would just they had like the little inscription above. It did take me like, I think I missed it the first time because I just sometimes skipped it when it says like whatever chapter it was, and I jumped straight into the the body of the chapter. But then I was like, wait a second, what's happening? So I had to go back, and then I was like, oh, okay, so it takes place like 5 months or 10 years before. It was interesting though. There wasn't so much of a time jump between certain characters. It was more like one character and his past story being, or their past story being like told. It was mostly Serapio or Nara. But other than that, I felt like it was pretty cohesive.
Yeah, I knew right away because the audiobook like screams it at you at the beginning of each chapter. So I was like, okay, so yes, 19 days before or 10 years before. Something that with the time jump that frustrated me was that I was so excited to get to that day. and then it was kind of like a few chapters would like stick at like 20 days before, 20 days before, 20 days before. And I'm like, can we move forward? I want to get closer to the actual day. But I still thought it was cool. And it was like, unlike One by One, where like that little subtitle added nothing, this really added something. So I was trying to pay attention.
Yeah. I think I'm the same. Like, I think it like confused me like a little, but then once I like got onto it, I was like, oh, okay. And then I think I was like the same with you, Noelle. I like, it was like 20 days before. I was like, I just want to get to the sun convergence. Can we just get there now, please?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it was just, it didn't take too long, but it was quite a nice like little way to showcase the backstory.
Yeah.
Ooh. Let's have a look. Someone said, oh my God, yes, the Raven cycle.
It's gonna be one of the late night book club picks. Let me tell you.
It has to be,
Yeah.
especially after we announced January's pick. You know.
Yeah. Stay tuned at the end of the video. Somebody said, "Kiss, marry, kill."
I was about to do that.
Serapia, Nara. You go first, Phil. You go first.
Oh, who's going first?
You go first.
Oh wow. Okay. So I would marry Jala because I just feel like we'd have a lot of fun adventures together. I'd kiss Serapia because then I don't have to deal with all of his emotional and physical baggage. And then I would kill Nara because clearly she's not right for her job.
So I'm just gonna echo what you've just said. I think like Jala, I need in my life for a long time. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a one and done type of deal. Serapio is kind of like, you can only, like, you're going to leave me anyway in a week. So like, why would I marry you if you're just going to ditch me? Right? Nara, exactly. ELLIAS, come on, explain it. What's your picks?
Moving on. Next question.
No, you need to like tell us, like, Nara, why are you killing her?
How?
You know, I think this question really resonates with me, like on what happens next on the second book. But if we're strictly talking on the first book, especially the first half, goodbye, Nara. You're not even in contending with Xyla or Serapio. I would both kiss and marry both of Xyla and Serapio. Who says you can't have two partners? So
go off.
Although I feel like of all of you guys and all like the three characters, I'm like the least ill-fitted choice for any of these characters. I think they would hate me.
Someone said crack ship, Nara and Jala thought.
Ooh, I found another question. Just kidding. Ew. Okay, if that ever happened, I feel like Nara would literally have to, like, her character development would have to be like a 180. Like I said before, Xyla would eat her up. She would just.
I mean, if she listens to some Dua Lipa, you know, she'll do it.
I mean, Nara, man. Okay, it's not like I hate her. Okay, it's just the fact that she annoyed me so much in the beginning of the book, and then she had a chance to do a 180, like turn it around, and the ending, like what?
Okay, I would
listen.
He was on another level. Kiss him. I would marry him. Maybe I'd marry him and Jala together. You know, I think we'd have fun adventures together on a ship, going far away.
He was so cool. Someone asked, previous question was like, who would you swap out for a main POV? And I would rather have the brother as a, the brother just had some grit.
My character.
Ooh.
I don't know. I feel like even though they weren't the POVs, I would be really interested in learning the backstory of Serapio's tutors. I felt like there was so much anger, so much hate that I'm like, what's happening? Even though it originally stems from like the Knight of Knives, I'm just like, these characters are so interesting because these tutors were training this one guy who is like a vessel of sorts, and like he's so special that it's untraditional or unheard of for these people to come together and train this one person. So I'm like, I feel like that would be so interesting to find out if in book 2, maybe a backstory on these certain characters. Like, why are they so like not evil, but like so mean, and like what is so bitter? Like Serapia even killed 2 of them, you know? So it's just like interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad he killed the first one at least.
Yeah, the first one as well. But the mom,
was
I
like,
feel like
"You'll
would be
win."
a great POV.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then we have to give some credit to the hot spring scene, the bath scene. Like,
Wait, what scene was this?
it was where Jala and Serapio go into like the hot springs, and then Serapio gives her a wash. Thoroughly.
Oh! Okay, I had like the hard time remembering because to me, okay, here's the thing. I felt like the love scenes or like the romance scenes weren't that steamy at all to me. I felt like they were so like flat and it just really like happened so quickly and it was done. It was like to me like I don't know, like out of character almost for Shala in a way. Especially what happens like these two are on the boat for like what 2 weeks or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I wasn't
20
really
days.
that invested in the romance, so I was just like, it happened way too quick. I mean, I know that's just my personal taste, but and then they didn't even have sex or do anything. I think they just had some sort of foreplay, but that was it, I guess.
Mm.
So steamy for sure, but not steamy enough for me.
That's real.
So it just happened so quickly. That's why I didn't really remember it. And I was just like, wait, that was important? Oh my guys, I don't hate this book, okay? I'm just I don't want you guys to come across and things like, oh my god, this thing's trashing on.
Just yeah, I think like it was a nice scene, and I think that because Serapio earlier on was like, I can't give you what you want, I think it was kind of like not to be like weird, but it was kind of like his parting gift almost to her, because like he had been saying like, I can't give you what you want, I have this big destiny ahead of me, like I can't do this and that for you, like we can't have a romance. And so he was just like, okay, bye, and just I'm gonna wash you before I leave.
But then when he leaves and he's like, never mind, you gave me the gift, I was like, huh?
I was like, oh,
what? Okay. Damn.
I was like, wow, okay, cool, like clearly amazing. Wow. This is a good point. Like from the mild chapters we got of him, I was just like, you seem like a good guy.
He did. I wanted more for him too. Like it was so funny to me how there were like a couple chapters of him and that was it. But who knows? Like sometimes like maybe in the next book he'll be like the one of the main characters. I had a question about Okoa though, because remember when he got the letter from his mother with Chea? He didn't really trust Chea. And I was like, was there like a real big specific reason why he didn't? Or not? Did it ever go back and explain why? Or not really?
I think he might be like slightly suspicious of his sister for like, because obviously he had the thing that was like, our mother was murdered. So I think he might be slightly suspicious. Like,
okay, that was it. Okay.
I think that might have been it.
Yeah, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Like I'm like, why are you so sus? Because Chea did say that he was a guard or in like his mother's room in front of like the door or something when she was found dead. So I was like, maybe he has something to do with it. Interesting plot point, but it never really brought like back up. So
yeah,
100%.
100%. I feel like I think they might delve into a bit more in like the second book, purely because we're probably gonna see a lot more of the Crow people, and like again, I am also super curious as to who murdered her, because clearly that's something that needs to be answered.
Who do you guys think actually murdered? What's her name? Yelitsa?
Yeah, Yelitsa, I think it was. I think I'm gonna say it was either the sister, Okoye's cousin / sister, I think it was, or it's gonna be one of the priests who are like trying to like incite like a rebellion so that they could be like, okay, we as priests need to protect you all.
Yeah, I think it's a priest that maybe sent someone else out to do their bidding.
I think it was a priest. I don't know. I have really high suspicions of Itan because they were acting really sus.
Oh, now that's interesting.
I think that was the hot take. So
that is interesting.
Someone agrees with you. I don't trust them. They were like very demeaning towards Nara and like being like, oh, I know what's best for you, so you just have to take it.
Are you both kidding me? I trust them with my full heart. I don't distrust them at all. I'm like, you are the only warm spot is for them.
No, Noelle, no.
I trust 100%. How? Okay.
Noelle, don't pull a Nara. No,
don't pull a.
Oh, Nara thinks. Okay.
Nara's the one that hurt them. Nara hurt them. Okay.
This is all
oh wow. Okay.
I don't know. I think people are agreeing with you in the comments, which is unfortunate.
Someone agrees with you though.
Come on, Heidi, bring it home. Come on now.
I mean, this is also a good point.
Oh.
So
but that's such like a huge, that's too big, I feel like. That's just
go big or go home.
You know what? I agree. We'll find out in the next book anyway.
I mean, more people also trust Iktan, so all the people are coming out now in support.
Yes, thank you. Something just in my gut.
Y'all, you know what? This is gonna be interesting to see what happens in the next book. And see, like, oh, you were wrong. I was right.
I know, seriously.
I know, I am justified.
Someone asked the question, which clan would you want to belong to? I thought that was really interesting because they were like,
Teak, 100%. Oh my god. I grew up like as Little Mermaid. You know what I'm saying? Like I was on the swim team. I had red hair. I was all about it. And so I would want to be part of the Teak.
I would love to be the Sun Priest. Like, you know, I'll just bin the crows. Like, bye. Actually, no, I wouldn't do that. Like, please don't think I'm some murderous person. But no, I just like the sun. So, and plus, I can't really be a Teak anyway because I'm not a woman. So, but if in another world I was a woman, I would totally be a Teak. But since I can't, clearly I'm just going to go for the highest position I can go to, and that's the Sun Priest.
How can I picture you like fan art with
the mask and the outfit and everything?
Yes, exactly.
I
should have done that.
I would want to be a carrion crow because, you know, somebody do it. But I would choose carrion crow because I want to fly big crow.
That's strong. I like that we all chose different.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's purely because you also want to do that, Elias.
Who can say they want to ride a big ass bird in real life? You know, like this whole world reminded me a little bit of like Avatar: The Last Airbender in terms of like the world structure, like the setting ish with like the different nation tribes and stuff. So.
I feel like as well we do need like a little bit more information about like the clans as like
because we didn't even go into like the serpent like at all, right? The serpent clan. Right.
Yeah, because we had the Teak, the Spear Maidens, the Crow people, and then like the priesthood people as well. But we didn't really get much. Also the Water Striders, but we didn't really get like their beliefs, their key principles, like what they believe in.
I feel like we just need a little bit more. Spear Maiden.
Yeah. Can I ask, since we're getting close to the end, for everyone in the comments and also Joel and Elias, from Black Sun, what is like the next fantasy I should read? That's like not too intense. Like I don't want to get confused in the world, but something beautiful.
Joel already has this. He's like, no, I got you.
This is young adult, but it's amazing.
Okay.
It's lovely. Iconic.
Okay.
Such a great introduction to fantasy. So like
it's stunning.
And it's a stunning cover. This is the UK cover. Also stunning. But
stunning.
No. Honestly, like an amazing book.
Jade City?
Ooh, Jade City is really good. Who said that?
Six of Crows.
No, I haven't even read Jade City. I would totally buddy read that with you.
The cover just keeps catching my eye in every post and every video. I'm like, what is this gorgeous cover?
Wait, it's holding my laptop up, so I can't even like show it to you. But yeah, it's amazing. I finished it a few days ago. Oh, you'll probably want the sequel right away, so I would have that to hand.
That book is so big. Like it's thick. So I'm really excited, but like it's daunting. Not to scare you, Noelle. Okay, this is
Number in the Ashes.
Oh, I also hands down Number in the Ashes, Noelle. It is Chef's Kiss. The last book actually just came out. So
I still need to read books 3 and 4.
I started book 4. Let me tell you the feels. It's happening. Characters are dying. Stakes are high. So, Noelle, did you ever read? I can't remember. Lord of the Rings.
Strange the Dreamer. Yes, I did.
Noelle, Strange the Dreamer. I love it
so much.
It's so good. So good.
And there's romance?
There's romance.
It's a duology too. It's only 2 books.
Let me just check Libby real quick. Let's just see if it's on there for my nightly read. Come on now.
Okay.
It's so
I'm reading it next month. For Mistborn, not Strange the Dreamer. Strange the Dreamer remains like one of my top favorite books of all time. So, oh, this is a good question. Will we ever see a sci-fi read as the book club pick?
Interesting. Sci-fi is my like least to go genre, but for the love of the book club, I will give it a try. I mean, Noelle, I will give fantasy a try. So, I mean, I have read sci-fi before, but it's just it depends.
I think sci-fi is like one of my least read genres as well. But I read a really good sci-fi this year. It's right behind me as well. The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. This was a really amazing sci-fi. Oh, it's so good.
I would totally read some sci-fi. I don't know if Ready Player One counted as a sci-fi. It felt like a sci-fi, but
I think it would count. Yeah.
And then The Martian is like one of my favorite books of all time. So I
read that one too.
Haven't read a lot of sci-fi, but you know, my parents are the biggest sci-fi dorks I know. So I would love to read some sci-fi just so I can like be on the in crowd with my own parents. You know what I'm saying?
I heard Dune is like pretty up there, like as a
oh my god, Dune!
I haven't read it, but I want to read it soon.
It looks too big for me.
I'm terrified.
Okay, this is a great way to segue into like the closing off point for this live show. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. This one.
This is our book for December.
Let me grab my copies.
we gotta wait for Joel.
I'm seriously so excited.
4 copies.
Oh my god, you have 4 copies.
What's your favorite one?
Joel, this whole live show said go big or go home.
Let's see it.
So
Joel, what's your copies?
This is the first one.
Stunning.
Without a dust jacket?
No, there's no dust jacket on it.
Beautiful.
Oh wait, is that the all crate one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then this is the Illumicrate one, and it's just black and white.
Beautiful.
Look at the
love the shine.
Beautiful. Oh my god.
Ooh.
And then this is the Forbidden Planet exclusive edition with just blue.
Oh, with the blue! Damn!
And then it's
she's sexy.
Underneath.
Cute.
And then finally, we have the Waterstones edition, which is gold.
I love how you know where each copy is from, like these different editions.
Oh, I'm always prepared. So,
I only have 1 copy of this book, and I got it from Target. So
yeah, I think I'm just gonna read this one though, because it just seems the easiest. Plus, it already comes with a bookmark, so I won't even have to use one.
Cute. Love that for you.
I'm really excited to get December on my channel. The live stream will be on my channel for this one. Very excited.
Stunning. And also, are we gonna
guys? Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to hear the January pick for the Late Night Book Club? Drumroll, please. Ta-da! Yes! The Shining by Stephen King.
Oh.
So we're finally diving in. We're finally diving in into Stephen King. I have read only one book by him, which is his like more recent work, The Outsider. But Joel has never, from my understanding,
I've
read
never
a
read
Stephen King
King.
book. And Noelle is a diehard fan, so I'm pretty excited. I am
so
this one will be
excited.
I'll be hosting on my channel, and we're excited for you guys to join us because I've watched the movie, but it's been so long I don't really remember. All I remember major parts, but excited. That's all I can say.
Oh wait,
we were
which was the
thinking
one?
The Shining because it's cold. Takes place over a winter break, right? That's a good January pick. I can't wait. And you guys don't have to love it. That's fine. If you don't love it, you don't love it. But oh my god, am I going to love it.
Join the club. Join the Stephen King Virgin Club. It's gonna be great.
Also, just a little side note. We have a Discord all set up. Everything like it should be out this week. Me, Joel, Noelle, we just gotta finesse it, just fine tune, tweak a little few things, but
got that je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, that that major chef's kiss. So it'll be ready by this week. So look out for the link. I'm real excited because it's a different platform, a different format. I've never interacted or talked about books on like a different scale before. So I'm pretty excited to talk about books on there with you guys. So yeah, new things exciting. New things coming exciting. We got Addie LaRue in December, The Shining in January, in a Discord roughly this week. So
big time stuff happening over here.
Yeah.
2021 is gonna be a big year for the club. I'm excited.
February's pick will be a romance.
February will be a romance.
We're not 100% on it. We have some ideas.
I'm excited. So yeah, I wanted to thank everyone for joining us tonight or this afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. But yeah, I can't wait for next month and also January. So yeah.
Super excited.
Oh, same. Right. So I guess
thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Next month.
See you guys later.
See you soon.